Welcome to the place where we learn about and learn from the leaders in our field who are powering creativity. I'm Aaron Dworkin, and this is Arts Engines. Thanks again for joining me here on Arts Engines. Today's guest is Gabriela Ortiz, who serves as Carnegie Hall's Debs Composer Chair, but also I would be remiss if I did not also add Grammy Award-winning composer. Gabriela, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this great opportunity.
Absolutely. So it's so wonderful to be able to talk to you. Obviously, Carnegie Hall, one of our wonderful partners, our creative partners for Arts Engines. And I want to kind of talk about that role that you have with them and the impact that that's having. But first and foremost, since, very recently you were awarded 3 Grammys, not just one, but 3 Grammy Awards. So just wanted to actually ask you, of course, I know that feels wonderful, but so many in our audience are spend their careers working on, striving for the impact that they're trying to have. And sometimes it may feel like recognition of that work that they do doesn't come. And just wondering anything you could share, just given the impact that you've had over so many years and then receiving that recognition. Just curious, give us a window into your thoughts and your heart in this moment.
When I feel, of course, I feel very happy, and it's amazing. For me, it's like a dream come true. But, I always, music is my passion. That's the first thing that I should say. So I always work in the field of music, to make music. I mean, because this is the way I can express myself, through my music, and for me it's extremely important. I have like this necessity of expression, and the best way to do that is just to compose and produce music. So that's the first thing, is that because it's my passion. I mean, I spend hours and hours in my studio trying to produce a piece of music, to think about music. I mean, this is something that it really grabs my attention all the time. I love music, and I love all kinds of music as well. So I mean, basically, when you really pursue your passion, when you really like what you're doing, I mean, time it's like a suspension of time. I mean, I can spend hours and hours in my studio, and it seems like it was just 5 minutes, because I love what I do. And so I obviously, when I start, writing music, I never thought that I was going to win a Grammy. Definitely not. That was not in my head. I was just working very hard, as everybody. No, and years of years I just wrote music, and with all my passion, and suddenly, this is like moving to a different direction, which is amazing. I mean, it's I think that everything starts with this relationship with, the LA Philharmonic and Gustavo Dudamel, and since then, I've been working very closely to them, and then suddenly that, situation opened me to other, doors, and now in New York, now at Carnegie Hall. So it's been really fantastic, but yeah, you have to work very hard. What I can tell you is that, for young people, for young composers, for young artists, follow your instinct, follow your passions. It's extremely important. I mean, if you love what you do, just stick there and work very hard, because, yeah, definitely talent is important, but also the other part of it is to have discipline and to work very, very hard.
I love that. And I am feeling so inspired just being able to talk with you. And so in kind of sharing that, of course, as you mentioned, right, this extraordinary work that you've been doing at Carnegie and in this role as composer chair, could you, a lot of times, and I'm sure there's those in our audience, you hear, oh, someone's a composing chair or they're in residence somewhere, those. So could you kind of share with us, so what does that mean? What's the, scope of that for you at Carnegie Hall? And for you, where do you feel, or where are you striving to have the most impact in that role?
Well, for me, first of all, I have to say that I'm very grateful, of course, with Carnegie Hall, because, they just invite me to collaborate with them in a series of concerts. But for me, one of the really important things is that not only, that it's incredible. This is a very highly, reputation institution, and it has a really important and international reputation. But for composers, it's extremely important to hear our music, you know, well played. And because of that, I have the opportunity to meet new artists, like, for example, my new collaboration with Gabriela Ortiz, or this new collaboration with the Attack String Quartet, which for me is incredible. It's like, again, like another dream come true, because, when you know that you're going to write a piece for such an incredible, musicians, it's amazing. It's like, oh, wow, I can do almost like everything that I have in my head, and I can just work and produce, this incredible music, because I know that this music is going to be really played so well. So that's one of the main things that I feel so grateful. The other part, which is very important, is to show Latin American music, and that was something that I was able to do with Ensemble Connect. No, I feel very grateful again with Carnegie Hall, because they told me, we would like you to invite you to function as a curator, and design a concert with the Ensemble Connect. And my decision was to show the music of Latin America, because for Latin American composers, it's very difficult to show our music. It's not easy. So for me, that was an amazing opportunity. So I invite people from Costa Rica, from Cuba, from Mexico, of course, from Venezuela, and those young performers from Ensemble Connect did an incredible work. I think that we did an incredible concert, and I feel very proud. I feel very proud, because I think that if I'm open, if the Carnegie Hall is open me this room to show my music as a Mexican composer, I also opening the room for other Latin American composers, not only from Mexico, which is for me very important. And also because, in New York, there are a lot of Hispanic people. So it's amazing also to show them that, that we are doing, good music, and we are producing, and we have really good composers.
And kind of on that front, I was wondering, as a composer, there are so many in our audience who, whether composers or administrators, or some way have their creative practice or administrative impact in the field. And just wondering if you could share kind of, how do you feel about your role as a composer, and especially this amazing work you're doing at Carnegie Hall, as it relates to society, right? Where many describe that we're at a very unique moment in the history of our nation. And where definitely there are communities that feel at the very least challenged, and at the greatest much worse. And just wondering if you could share with all of us, how do you see the role of the music, of the arts, and especially your role in creating sound experiences, right? Sharing your stories with audiences, with our society, with our nation, and with others. Just curious if you could kind of talk about that and how you feel about it.
Well, I feel that is a great opportunity, especially for New York audiences, because New York is a multicultural city. So imagine, which is fascinating, which is part of the magic to be in New York, is that you can hear every language from all over the place. And so for me, it's an incredible opportunity to share my music, with this diversity of people, no, and especially to show the music for this Hispanic community, which is not only the Mexican community, but it's also the community from Puerto Rico, the community from so many other places, and for me, it's a huge privilege to show them that we're doing this and we're producing this kind of work. And so it's also very important. Also, I think that that it's important for Carnegie Hall to have a composer from Mexico. I think I'm the first one to have this opportunity. I'm the first one to be as a composer in residence, and that it's important in a moment like that, in a moment like this. In this moment, it's important to have a good relationship between the U.S. and Mexico. It's extremely important, and I think that music is the best is one of the best ways to talk about, this good relation and standing together, And I really believe that music is universal language and can unify and can make us better as human beings. So I'm glad that, the Carnegie Hall is also thinking about this diversity, that representation of other cultures, it's important. And this is something that it has to be like that. Because for so many years, most of the music in the classical music world, the music that we've heard is the music produced in Europe. So it's not only Europe. I mean, it's Latin America, it's Africa, it's Asia. So I'm so glad that now we have a better opportunity for us to have more places to show our music.
And thank you so much just for sharing kind of this context and what the music and role and especially this diversity means, and especially at our signature institutions like Carnegie Hall. Absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, we are just about out of time, but I always like to ask of all my guests. This work, I can see, the passion for your work just emanates from you, and it's so amazing and wonderful. But there probably have to be some days where there's challenges or obstacles that feel like you can't overcome them. And just wondering for, any support for our audience when they might feel that way. Are there any things you do or mechanisms you have when you feel like you're hitting a wall with something or can't overcome it?
Yes, I mean, life is like that. I mean, I'm sure that everybody has to face obstacles in every sense, not only in music, but it's also, it's because, to live life is intensively, you have to face all these obstacles. But if you believe in yourself, if you have this confidence that you can do it and you can arrange things, and you can, despite how difficult it could be, there was always a new path. There was always light there. I think that you have to trust yourself and work very hard towards that kind of thing, and think about positive. No, you have to be very positive. So sometimes, yes, I stay in my studio and I said, I don't know, I don't have any idea. Probably I'm totally empty. My brain is empty. What am I going to write? But I trust in myself. Even if I don't know where I'm going to go, there is always something that happens that finally, yes, I have now the idea. So I now can navigate into this idea. So basically, is that. I mean, we have to fight every day. Every day. So yeah, but you need to be strong. No, it's strong in every sense, and believe in yourself, and have a lot of confidence that you're gonna make it, and you're gonna make it better.
Gabriela Ortiz, you truly are one of the arts engines who is powering human creativity in our world. Thank you so much for everything that you do in so many communities, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for this great opportunity to talk a little bit about my music and myself.